Welcome to Top 10 Archive. Today we're downsizing a bit. As a world, we're so focused on the bigger picture that sometimes we forget the smaller, more whimsical things, like these 10 adorable structures that could make up the tiniest little village. From humble abodes to the little skyscraper that could, these are truly the tiniest of buildings. Claustrophobics, beware. Number 10, North Queensferry Lighthouse. If you're wondering what the cutest building in the world is, we believe it to also be the smallest lighthouse in the world. Though this structure was decommissioned in 1964, it's still a grand little structure in North Queensferry, Scotland. Standing at a whopping 3.3 meters, or 11 feet high, the lighthouse was built in 1817 by John Rennie, with a design by famed designer Robert Stevenson. The trek from the bottom floor to the top of the lighthouse is a short, winding 24 steps. The housing for the light is so small that it can only fit 2 people, though comfort is definitely not guaranteed. The lighthouse was once used to guide the ferry passage that was done away with after the Forth Road Bridge opened, but now acts as a great tourist attraction, having been saved by the North Queensferry heritage. Number 9. Portland's Flatiron Building. On the triangular intersection of West Burnside, Southwest Stark, and 12th Street in downtown Portland, Oregon, stands a piece of West Coast American history. The Flatiron Building, currently home of the Wranglers Annex and Espresso Bar, was built in 1916 and takes up an area of less than 1 acre. When it first opened, it was dubbed the smallest commercial building on the West Coast, a title that likely aids in the appeal to whatever businesses may call it home. It has been placed on the National Register of Historic Places and has been home to a variety of uses, including a catering kitchen and talk radio station. Number 8. Newby McMahon Building. Playfully dubbed the world's littlest skyscraper, this cute building is located in Wichita Falls, Texas. The neoclassical styled structure is only 12 meters or 40 feet tall and 3 meters or 10 feet wide. Overall, it only offers approximately 10 square meters or 108 square feet of space, of which nearly 1/4 is taken up by stairways that span the height of the structure. How did this seemingly useless building come to be? Contractor J.D. McMahon came up with a plan to swindle investors by promising a high-rise annex. The blueprints he produced were approved by his investors, likely because they didn't notice the dimensions of the building were clearly labeled 12 meters or 480 inches instead of 480 feet. Despite the legal battle that followed, the judge ruled in McMahon's favor as he followed the blueprints exactly. Today, the building stands as a bit of Wichita Falls history, serving as a historic landmark. Number 7. Alpette, Turin Elementary. Most of us complained about school and how overbearing the teachers can be. But imagine being the only student in a school. Alpette Elementary in Turin, Italy is the smallest school in the world, housing 1 classroom that is there for just 1 lonely little student. The town of Alpette is quite small itself, topping off with a population of around 300 people. But to consider a school of just 1 student? Sounds ludicrous. It's not an entirely new concept, though Alpette takes the spot for the small size of the building. Number 6. Kuapi. If you're with a large group of hungry people, Kuapi Restaurant is definitely not the place for you. In fact, if you're dining with more than 2 people, you'll need to take your business elsewhere, as this Islamic eatery is just big enough to serve a pair of guests. Sizing in at a whopping 8 square meters or 86 square feet, Kuapi is open during the summer at Ilsami Port. If you're worried about the kitchen being right on top of the customer, worry not. Due to the extremely small size, food is brought in from the neighboring Olet Mustari restaurant. If weather permits, diners can enjoy a waterfront view, though the restaurant will still only accommodate a party of 2. Number 5. Prince Edward Island Library. Library booths have been popping up all over the world, but despite their convenience, they are nowhere near as fascinating as the minuscule structure that houses the Prince Edward Island Library in Cardigan, Canada. If the Guinness World Records had a category for smallest library, this 3.5 by 3.5 meter or 11.5 by 11.5 foot space would likely take the prize. Run by John A. MacDonald and his daughter, Alexandria, the Prince Edward Island Library houses approximately 1,800 books and offers a simple $5 membership. Of course, curious tourists can check out the small structure for free, and over the years, it has attracted much drive-by attention. Number 4. Okeechobee Post Office. We often think of post offices as larger operations that require a lot of people and joined efforts. But for the town of Okeechobee, Florida, the exact opposite is true. In a 2.1 by 2.4 meter or 7 by 8 foot space, the entire town's post office is run. Initially, this tiny building was used as an irrigation pipe shed for a tomato farm. But after a fire destroyed the Okeechobee General Store, which also housed the post office in 1953, The post office needed a new home. So now it sits in this minuscule office as the smallest post office in the world. Just one employee acts as the clerk for the office, which services a town with a population of around just 11 people. The Daily Mail route, however, stretches 132 miles over 3 counties. Number 3. Sark Prison. The village of Needingworth in Cambridgeshire, England, houses a structure with a rather curious purpose. The small brick building looks like an oversized fireplace, but its function isn't to incinerate, but rather incarcerate. This one-man prison was used to house inmates for a short while before they were moved to a grander prison. Drunks, felons, and other criminals would spend brief days in the small lockup, the lone door being the only source for ventilation. The prison was built in 1838 and has since been decommissioned, with the words 1838 Village Lockup inscribed on a plaque being the only indication of what the structure used to be. Now it stands as nothing more than a memory of Needingworth's history, partially overtaken by Mother Nature. Number 2. Missionary Independent Spiritual Church. You don't need a lot of space to praise the Lord, or at least that's the assumed motto of the Missionary Independent Spiritual Church in Forestville, California. Coming in at a very tiny 3.3 square meters or 36 square feet, this small red cottage is the smallest spiritual church in the world. On a daily basis, the church holds full services and is far more than a simple chapel. Though it is believed the Cross Island Chapel in Oneida, New York holds the non-existent record for the smallest church, Missionary Independent is actually 0.03 square meters or 0.2431 square feet smaller. A seemingly small difference? Yes, but enough to separate the world's smallest from the second smallest. Number 1. Micro Compact Home. If you're a fan of space and like to spread out a little bit, the Micro Compact Home is definitely not for you. This miniature home is made up of 7 square meters or 77 square feet of space, which houses accommodations meant for short-term living arrangements. With an on-site kitchen, miniature living area, and bathroom, this tiny house has everything you need to survive. At 38,000 euros, or roughly $42,000, the price may be a bit steep for the extremely small space you get, but for some people, there is no price that can be put on the level of privacy you receive if you live in one of these tiny structures alone. Oh, for the handyman or handywoman out there, know that there are many YouTube videos dedicated to teaching you how to build your very own tiny home for about half the price. Have you seen any of these impressively small structures in person? Do you know of any other tiny structures that could have made our list? Let us know in the comments section below. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and our website, top10archive.net. If you have an idea for a future Top 10 video, be sure to leave a comment on any of our videos. If you like these videos, be sure to subscribe for more and share them with all of your friends.